Dear students, today we are going to discuss about chemical properties of carbohydrates with special reference to monosaccharides. Carbohydrates are the most abundant organic molecule in nature. It is the hydrates of carbon. In simple manner, it is defined as polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones or compounds which produce them on hydrolysis. It is mainly composed of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. So the general molecular formula for carbohydrate is CnH2ON. Some of the carbohydrates also contain sulfur, nitrogen or phosphorus. And some exceptions are also there like acetic acid and lactic acid. We are going to see the chemical properties like tautomerization, oxidation, reduction, osazone formation and dehydration. The first process is tautomerization. So what is meant by tautomerization? It is a process of shifting a hydrogen atom from one carbon atom to another to produce indiols, and this process is known as tautomerization. And then next important property is its reducing ability. In mild alkaline solutions, carbohydrates which contains a free sugar group, that is either it may be an aldehyde or ketone, and that functional group will tautomerize to form indiols, where the two hydroxyl groups are attached to the double bonded carbon atoms. Since the indiols are powerful reducing agents in alkaline medium, when oxidizing agents like cupric ions are present, sugar forms a mixture of carboxylic acid by breaking at the double bonds. Based on the reducing ability, the sugars are again classified into two types. One is reducing sugar and another one is non-reducing sugar. The reducing property is mainly attributed by the free aldehyde or ketone group of anomeric carbon atom. In many medical laboratories, many tests are used to identify the reducing ability of a sugar. So tests like Benedict's test, Barfoot test and Filling test are commonly used. So the reduction is much more efficient in the alkaline medium than that of acidic medium. And it has to be noted that the reducing property of the sugars cannot help to identify the particular sugar. This is general for all reducing sugars. The next important property of monosaccharide is the formation of osazone products. All the reducing sugars will tend to form the osazones with excess of phenyl hydrazines when it is kept at boiling temperature. So only the reducing sugars give a positive response towards ozone formation. The presence of a free carbonyl group in the molecule, which is essential for the ozone formation. Generally, ozones are yellow crystalline derivatives of reducing sugars with phenyl hydrazine, and it possesses a characteristic crystal-like structure which can be used for identification and characterization of different sugars having closely similar properties. So the difference in glucose, fructose and mannose are mainly dependent on its first and second carbon, and this difference is masked when phenyl hydrazine reacts with these two carbons. So glucose, fructose and mannose give broom-shaped ozones. The ozones formed from glucose, fructose and mannose are identical because these are identical in their lower fourth carbon atoms. And in general, non-reducing sugars like sucrose cannot form these ozones due to the absence of free carbonyl group in that. And here you can see some of the ozone products. And in case of glucose, the ozone product of glucose is said to be glucosazone, which is needle shaped or broom shaped. And then next ozone product is for maltose, that is said to be maltosazone, which is star shaped. And then next ozone product is for lactose, that is said to be lactosazone, which shows powder puff shaped crystals. And these things has to be observed under microscope. And this ozone test is important in identifying the various reducing sugars. The next important chemical property of monosaccharide is oxidation. Depending on the oxidation agent used, the terminal aldehyde or the terminal alcohol group may be oxidized. So first, for example, if it is a mild oxidation condition means, for example, if hypobromous acid is used means here the terminal aldehyde group is oxidized to carboxyl group to produce aldonic acids. So for example, here you can see glucose is tend to form gluconic acid when it is oxidized. Like that, mannose when oxidized it gives mannonic acid, and galactose when galactose is oxidized it gives galactonic acid. Whereas if the aldehyde group is protected, so if there is no chance to get a oxidization of the aldehyde group, so the molecule is oxidized, especially in the body. The last carbon is oxidized to COOH, producing uronic acids. So that is here the terminal OH group will be oxidized. Here the product will be the uronic acids. So just for example, glucose is oxidized to glucouronic acid. So this glucouronic acid is used in the body to synthesize heteropolysaccharides, and it is also used for conjugation of various substances. So in the previous slide, we have seen the oxidation ability of the carbohydrate under mild oxidation conditions. If the carbohydrates are reacted with strong oxidizing agents like strong acids, for example like nitric acid, so both the groups like the terminal OH group and terminal aldehyde group are oxidized to produce dicarboxylic acids, and those dicarboxylic acids are said to be saccharinic acids. So for example, in case of glucose, the oxidized product is said to be glucosaccharinic acid, and in case of mannose it is mannaric acid, and in galactose it is mucic acid. And then the oxidation by glucose oxidase has been done by GOD and POD method, that is glucose oxidase and peroxidase method. The next important chemical property is that furfural formation. In general, monosaccharides when treated with concentrated sulfuric acid, it undergoes dehydration process, that is removal of water molecules. Here in this furfural formation, removal of 3 molecules of water has been take place. Hexosis gives hydroxymethyl furfural derivative, whereas pentosis gives furfural derivative. Furfurals condense with the phenolic compounds, which gives various colors. And this is the basis for many tests which has been used to identify the carbohydrates. For example, that is a Molish test. And another 2 tests are also there, that is a rapid furfural and Selivanov's test. These 2 tests are used to test the presence for any keto group in that carbohydrate. The next important chemical property of monosaccharide is the reduction, that is the reduction to form alcohols. When the monosaccharides are treated with reducing agents such as sodium amalgam, the hydrogen can reduce the sugars. Here the aldose yields corresponding alcohol, whereas the ketosis form 2 alcohol because of appearance of new asymmetric carbon atom in this process. Here you can see the example, the D-glucose, which is an aldose, which gives only 1 alcohol, that is D-sorbitol, whereas the ketose, that is D-fructose, upon reduction gives 2 alcohol, that one is D-sorbitol and another one is D-mannitol, and some other carbohydrate molecules like D-galactose gives D-dulcitol on reduction, and D-mannose on reduction gives D-mannitol. Like that, D-ribose on reduction gives D-ribitol. Here the sorbitol and mannitol are used to identify the bacterial colonies, and you can study these things, that is the sorbitol and mannitol and the role of these alcohol in bacterial identification in upcoming years. And the mannitol is used to reduce the intracranial pressure by forced diuresis. The osmotic effect of sorbitol and dulcitol produces changes in the tissues when they accumulate in abnormal amounts, for example in cataract formation. Another important chemical property is glycoside formation. When the hemiacetal group of a monosaccharide is reacted with an alcohol or a phenol group, then it is called as glycoside. The non-carbohydrate group is called aglycone. Glycosides are non-reducing, but they may be hydrolyzed by boiling with dilute acids. Alpha glycosides are hydrolyzed by maltase from yeast, while the beta glycosides are hydrolyzed by emulsin from almonds. So the enzyme hydrolysis affords a method to distinguish between these two forms, and this reaction shows the glycosidic bond formation between two sugar molecules. Here that is the two glucose molecule, one is alpha D glucose and beta D glucose, and both these glucose molecules combine together to form maltose. Here you can see the glycosidic bond formation between those two sugar molecules. So these are some of the important glycosides. For example, glucose gives fluorescein glycoside, whereas galactose or xylose gives digitonin, and glucose also gives plant indican. It is also a glycosidic product of plants. And the next important chemical reaction is formation of esters. So the hydroxyl group of sugars can be esterified to form acetates, propionates, benzoates, etc. Sugar phosphates are of great biological importance as the metabolism of sugars inside the body starts with phosphorylation. You know well about this phosphorylation reaction. For example, that is glucose 6 phosphate. And another important chemical reaction is that is carbohydrate when reacted with amino sugars. So the amino groups may be substituted for hydroxyl groups of sugars to give rise to amino sugar. If the carbohydrates are reacted with the amino groups, it gives rise to amino sugar. Generally, the group is added to the second C of the hexoses. These amino sugars are non-reducing and they do not form ozones at all. They are found in GNAG, that is N-acetylglucosamine, glycoproteins and proteoglycans. And here you can see the amino sugars. The amino group may be further acetylated to produce N-acetylated sugars like N-acetylglucosamine or N-acetylgalactosamine, which are the important constituents of glycoproteins and membrane polymers. Deoxy sugars, this is also another important chemical property of sugars, that is the removal of oxygen from the hydroxyl group of the sugars. Here, the oxygen of the hydroxyl group may be removed to form deoxy sugars, and these deoxy sugars are very similar to that of amino sugars in non-reducing ability. So here both the amino sugars and deoxy sugars are non-reducing, and both the amino sugars and deoxy sugars do not form ozosomes at all. And you know well about deoxy sugars, that is deoxyribose, which is present in our DNA molecule. And here you can see one of the deoxy sugar structure, that is deoxy D-ribofuranose. It is in beta form. I think now we have an idea about chemical properties of monosaccharides, and I will meet you in another one topic. Thank you.